Ignat's corner, beyond Bent. Janssen! And Blackburn Rovers are 18 minutes away from a Premiership return.
As far as Stewart, just outside the penalty area, clips it central for David Dunn. David Dunn equalises! It just had to be. Dax corner and it goes. Glance towards goal, and Rovers have taken the lead. And Charlie Mulgrew has scored his 14th of the season. It may well be the goal that sends Rovers back into the Championship.
Good morning, Blackburn Rovers fans, and welcome to another instalment of Breakfast with Rovers Chat. Happy Freedom Day to those celebrating back in the UK for the other day in Melbourne over here. We've got absolutely nothing but freedom. We're back into lockdown. 85 cases over the last 10 days, and it's secured us our 5th lockdown here in Victoria. But I'm pretty happy under this government. But enough of that anyway. Back to Rovers, and we've got a lot to talk about in this podcast, including the upcoming kit release, all the friendlies, people streaming in. This is already more than last week. This is brilliant. Love to see it. So good morning to all of you back in the UK. I'm Ollie Walker-Peel, and we will be running through so much Blackburn Rovers in preparation for the new season. Dan Woods in the chat already. Chris Hayes, Lucas Bradshaw, Christopher Knowles, send in all your questions you've got regarding anything Rovers, because we do have a lot to talk about. It is worth reminding everyone, though, that, of course, we are sponsored by 6yardsout.com.
The Rovers Chat YouTube channel is proudly sponsored by 6yardsout.com. They've got retro football from every era with mugs, phone cases and much more. They also have plenty of Rovers goods, including apparel with the famous 94-95 season and this season's kit. Check them out using the link in the description below.
Thanks, of course, as always, to our sponsors, being, of course, 6 Yards Out, and also Blue Rose Capital. Is also worth mentioning, we can't put the graphic up today, but I've got the big summer quiz coming up in collaboration with Sporting Minds UK. A lot of Rovers players getting involved there, so make sure you get involved there. You can donate to that charity, of course, as we've said. I wonder if I can get the thing across the bottom, the ticker along the bottom, because I can't get any overlays over the top today, but maybe I can get the Sporting Minds donation link, possibly. Yeah, there we go. So we've got that there as well. We've got Kieran is also in the chat as well. Good morning to you. I suppose we shall start in terms of Rovers with the friendly just gone against Everton. I do have my phone here alongside me. I've just got the tweet that Rich Sharp obviously had up with our lineups. It was a friendly that was pretty kept quiet, to be fair, for being really honest. It wasn't really mentioned much. It was a behind closed doors friendly against Everton. We went 1-0. We went down 1-0 at Finch Farm, Everton's training ground. We started with Thomas Kaminski in goal. Lenihan and Ayala also played. In fact, the team just below, I was reading the top line there where it was talking about the first run of the season. But in terms of the team, we had Kaminski in goal, back four by the looks of Nyambe, Lenihan, Ayala, Pickering, midfield three of Travis Davenport and Rothwell. Or maybe it was a midfield four actually with Buckley, but he's written it another way with Butterworth and Armstrong up top. Strong team, but we lost 1-0 thanks to a Jean-Philippe Jabam in goal. That was the only goal in the game, and it was enough to separate the two sides, of course. And the team that finished the game quite drastically different to the one that started it. So we had Kaminski, Doran, Annesley, Barnes, Carter, McGlaw, Whitehall, Sardi, McBride, Vale, and Chapman. So, you know, a lot different to what we saw in the first half or earlier parts in the game, I should say. But, you know, obviously we lost that game 1-0, obviously the Premier League side, Everton. So I suppose no harm in that. And obviously it's only pre-season. So make of that, of course, what you will. Chris Hayes, Kaminski looked in top form. I haven't seen anything from the game as of yet. So I don't know if there's any way you can watch highlights or watch the full game. But by all reports, apparently Kaminski was good. So, of course, I'd like to take you for it, and I will, because obviously I want to take all positive things when it comes to Rovers. But yeah, we'll see that. Go on. But Thomas Kaminski, obviously a brilliant goalkeeper. Actually ran through my 11. I just had a little brainstorm earlier on in the day because there's not much to do in lockdown, is there? But I had a look at my Rovers 11, and he actually started for me in goal. The Rovers 11 of my lifetime, should we say, has been running very, very similar on this channel as well. Maybe someone get me on there if possible. But I did do start 11 and subs, and Kaminski did start for me. He's been brilliant last season, and hopefully he can take his form into this season as well. Lucas Bradshaw echoing those comments, saying he was amazing. Highlights are on YouTube. Right, as soon as I finish this podcast, I'll go have a look at those because I do want to see something from that game, some vision. I think I saw a little bit, possibly. I don't know, a bit here and there, but I haven't really seen much. So I might have to go back and have a look at that once I do go off air. In terms of the under-23s, we did have a friendly cancelled against Gateshead away. I don't know why it was cancelled. I don't know for what reason, but I would have liked to have thought we'd have been able to get out in the park at Gateshead, but didn't happen for whatever reason. The friendly didn't happen, and so a missed opportunity for the under-23s to run out in that game against Everton are going to be part of that setup this season. You'd imagine the likes of Louis Annesley, Jill Sardi, Isaac Whitehall, Tyler McGlory if he doesn't go out on loan, Hayden Carter potentially might be able to graduate up to the senior setup, Sam Durrant. So mainly most of that second half team, or that later team, I shouldn't say second half because I don't know actually when they came on, but that team that played later on, most of those will be in the under-23 setup. So it's nice to see them, of course, get a run in the in the senior side, even if it is just for a friendly. But it was a different result to the friendly we played against Everton a few years ago back at Ewood. Obviously, we beat them 3-0 back in 2018, and we were pretty optimistic after that friendly. We were in that pale blue and white home kit that day. Bradley Dack was scoring. They had Carlo Ancelotti come down. There was all those memes saying, "Oh, how much are you going to sell Bradley Dack for? You need 75 million to sign him." Those things like that. I'm just going to try and bring up the Everton 11 as well. Everton first half had Virginia in goal, John Joe Kenny, Mason Holgate, Michael Keane. They had John, Iwobi, Jabamin, Gomez, Gordon, Rodriguez, and Keane. In the second half, they had Tyra, Kenny, Gibson, Godfrey, Coleman, Baganinmi, Allen, Decore, Davies, Delph, Whitaker. So again, strong team for Everton as well, to be fair. Probably not full strength, but still a decent team nonetheless. So to only lose 1-0 there, especially in pre-season, we'll take that. And it's experience for the younger lads as well, isn't it? Playing up against some top-level Premier League players. So not too bad. In terms of friendlies going forward, we, of course, have got Bradford. That's our next outing. We hope that the MACRON kit will be ready for that game. I'd assume we wear a home kit against Bradford, or they could wear our away one. Who knows? Depends what is released at the time. But we do have Bradford coming up in just a few days' time. That is Saturday, 3 o'clock kickoff. Saturday, the 24th of July, 3 o'clock kickoff local time. Of course, obviously no Rovers fans will be allowed into the ground there. There'll be 4,000 Bradford fans in attendance, but all home fans for that friendly. But speaking of home fans, it's the news that we've wanted to hear for so long. Blackburn fans are back very soon. 7:30 kickoff on the Wednesday, 28th of July. Blackburn fans are back at Ewood Park in scenes that we've been waiting to see for a year and a half, if we're being honest. It's going to be brilliant. I've seen, obviously, loads of fans on Twitter are looking to get back. Obviously, I'd love to go myself, but being 17,000 kilometres away, I don't think I'll be able to make that one. But of course, for any Rovers fans that are going, it'll be brilliant to hear Rovers fans back in the crowd, because especially the games that I've been watching, which is a lot of them. I think I missed 4 league games last season for various reasons on the iFollow. Usually because I'm staying up late and I just can't get the hours. I have to wake up early. But, it's something I did miss. Watching games at Ewood, obviously, a lot of rival fans have made jokes about how we can only half fill our stadium and all this. But even then, to miss out on that entirely, it just didn't feel real at some point. So it'd be nice to see Rovers fans back. So anyone in the chat, 16 viewers, this must be a high for at least this series so far. It's brilliant to see. Any Rovers fans in the chat, are you going to the game against Leeds? Have you bought a ticket? And if so, I mean, this is a rather stupid question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. How much are you looking forward to it? For all the Rovers fans who potentially go into that game, how much are you looking forward to getting back to Ewood Park? Because I think it will be amazing. I think it's £15 for adults. So, who's going to be stumping those up? There'll be a few that will go, and it'll be nice to see Rovers fans back at Ewood Park for the first time since Swansea, that 2-2 draw when Bradley Johnson got that late goal to equalise, which was brilliant back then. I remember celebrating that one. The story was I was watching it with a Newcastle friend of mine, and he saw the goal on Twitter. It popped up on his Twitter a minute before I saw it, and he didn't spoil it, which is fair play to him. But I just went absolutely mental when that goal went in. It was a deflection, top bins, and we haven't seen a Rovers goal celebrated with fans in the ground since. So, or with home fans in attendance, because obviously we had 2 goals scored away at Brentford when Brentford had the fans in, but not to worry there. In terms of other friendlies, then we did just briefly talk about the fact that we have got, of course, Leeds and of course Bradford. We do also have, I think, Bolton in a friendly as well before the season starts. Dan Wood saying live by Swansea, live by Swansea. Sorry, thought he said at first that he's living in Swansea. I'm not sure if he does. Live by Swansea, too far for a friendly. Fair enough, unless you do live in Swansea, of course, which would make sense. Obviously, Swansea first game of the season, so a bit of mixed messaging there, if we're being fair. But yeah, if you do live in Swansea, it's too far for a friendly, I'd say. Get down to East Lancashire, but hopefully you're doing that in the somewhat the near future. But yeah, I've actually had trouble reading that one out, which is really poor from me. But yeah, if you're living in Swansea, of course, it might well be too far for a friendly, especially on a weeknight, of course. But of course, we do play Swansea. Speaking of Swansea, first game of the season. Can't wait for it. As much as we're saying, the off-field issues potentially with Armstrong going and the financial troubles, you're always buzzing for the start of the season, aren't you? As football fans, you're always buzzing for the start of the season. So hopefully this season can provide us with some positives. But yeah, there's the friendly. Finally, Rovers fans back in the stadium. In terms of the kits we have mentioned, MACRON. I did see on the thumbnail that we are, that was all about MACRON and we're due to release our kits. I'm not actually sure when the release date is. It's this week, though, we know. It will be before the Bradford friendly, I should think. Hopefully it's sooner rather than later. And as soon as it's ordered, I think I'm going to order the away one first, and I'm going to get someone to sign the home one. I'm going to get it delivered to Brock Hall or something first. That's the aim, and then get it sent over here, hopefully. I don't know who it's going to be yet. It's probably a choice of two. But I don't know who I'm going to pick yet to get that signed. I'm going to get it on the wall behind me, which you can see there if I move out of the way. Rudiger Stead is the only Rover shirt I've got signed, and we'll get onto more. I'll get onto him later on. I might actually get that one down, actually. I know I showed it off in the first one that we did. But for those who haven't seen it, yeah, I'll actually go and grab that a second. Hold on. Bit of a Rovers Chat shirt shows. Let's see what I can do. Right. As I nearly take out my mirror. Let's get that off the hanger. There we go. Oh my god. Oh, Jesus Christ. Bloody hell. The things I do for a Rovers Chat stream, I've nearly fallen over then, and I've nearly absolutely hammered into my mirrors on the wall. So I know I've got the Out of Rovers Chat account, Out of Context Rovers Chat account. I won't be uploading that to that because it's just me. I'm not doing that. But for anyone who saw that, I nearly did slip there. I don't know if that's on camera. To quote Stephen Gerrard, I hope that's not on the telly. We'll have to see if that's popped up because I've nearly just slipped there. But there we go. What I did want to show though is Rudiger Stead. Obviously, a podcast coming up with him on there. He was playing for Melbourne Victory over here last season. You can just see he signed that there. I did buy that shirt initially. And there we go. He signed that there, which is pretty cool. And obviously, he's on a podcast with Rovers Chat, which you should watch when the release date is confirmed. I'm going to put that there because I'm going to go put that back up afterwards. I'm not putting that back yet. I can't be bothered because I've just could nearly slip over again. But yeah, Kieran in the chat there says it was in relation to what? We've gone off on so many tangents. So what are you saying that in regards to? Just elaborate a bit because we've gone off on so many tangents, during this podcast already. It could be saying so many things there. But just elaborate, Kieran, because I want to see what you're trying to say there. Yeah, of course, that podcast coming up. Actually, I might put this one back, actually, just so we can add to the aesthetic. Because obviously, it's a pretty cool background, that, isn't it? I'm hoping to get some more shirts up there as the season goes on. Maybe one or two more so we can get a real good background there. It was on camera. Falling into the mirror. No! 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 All right, I'm going to get this off camera. No, I didn't fall into the mirror. So I fell. I've got it here. In fact, this is really makeshift. I've got my little Blackburn blanket there. I've just taken my computer off charge. And I've not got much charge. I've just tripped over this bit here almost. Like I've got a little bit here, right in the corner. I've just tripped over on the floor. And then as I was sitting back, I then almost clattered into my mirror as I was sitting back. So it was two isolated incidents there that I've not shined myself much light with. But I hope, if nothing else, if there's nothing else, if there's a bit of comedy there for you. I'm sure someone's going to clip that. I'm sure someone's going to clip that and post that back up. Chris Hayes, the answer to that question is yes. Are you getting yourself a Diaz shirt this season? Yes, but not until the season starts, because I want to see what he's rolling with. Because obviously, with Rovers, he's only gone with Burton, and obviously with Chile, he went with Burton Diaz. So as soon as I know what he'll wear on the back of his shirt, and he might even change numbers from 20 to 22, we've talked about that as well, because obviously Taylor Harwood-Bellis has left, and he was wearing number 22. So that's now vacated. So he could go 22 for Chile and for Rovers. So as soon as I know what he's wearing, name and number on the back of his shirt, 100% I'm going to get that. Probably on the away shirt. Oh, but that means that contradicts everything I've just said. So yeah, well, I will eventually. Yes, eventually. At some point. I don't know if it'll be at the start of the season, midway through, or at the end of the season. Eventually, I'll get myself a Burton Diaz shirt. Maybe I get it on the back of the home one after I get the one signed. Yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan. I think what I might do, I might try and get one signed potentially, and then get the away one later in the season. I'm just waffling. I just keep contradicting myself. Right, here's the plan. All right, hold me accountable. So I'm getting the away shirt first, then later in the season I'll get a home one signed, hang it up on the back there, and then get a home one Diaz. That's it. That's the one. That's it. Right, that's the plan. So I will get a Diaz shirt at some point this season, but maybe not immediately. Do you think he'll play Central? I'm going to say if Armour leaves, so I'm still hopeful that we keep him. He might do. Obviously, we've been linked with Jerry Yates, Kieran, earlier on in the window. Obviously, those rumours have gone quiet. He might play central. Obviously, though, he's been playing out wide for Chile when I've watched him. So who knows? Of course, the only person that will know that is Tony Mowbray. But we're still hoping that Armour stays. I'd rather Armour stay and Brio stay out on the left, because he actually came into his own towards the end of the season. And even at the start, I think, obviously the Preston away game, he was pretty good. But yeah, he might do. It's definitely... Oh, Chris, don't do this to me, mate. It's definitely when Armour... I think he will, but I'm still holding out hope. We've got to hold out hope. Rovers fans, we've been crucified in terms of hope, haven't we? Because there's so much has gone wrong for us. We just got to hold on to hope and just hope that he stays. There's been a contract offer tabled, so if we're being optimistic, he still signs that. Obviously, there's optimism and realism, is there? And he might still leave anyway. But let's be hopeful. Let's be hopeful that he stays. And if he leaves, he leaves. I don't know. Obviously, I want him to stay because he's pretty incredible. Why? So he leaves on a free. Well, that's the point I want to make. I would rather him stay. Obviously, I'd rather him stay if a contract offer's tabled to him, and obviously accept the contract. And obviously, the only time we've looked like getting out of the Championship was at the start of this last season when he was bagging goals for us. But it's a catch-22 in it. You're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. Because obviously you don't want him leaving on a free, or right, Kieran. So if he doesn't sign the contract, I'm fine for him leaving, because obviously we want to get some money for him. But I'd obviously rather him sign the contract. So that's where I'm sitting. A lot of questions here. I like this. Last week was a bit dry in the comment section, so I didn't have much to bounce off. But now I definitely do. Chris Hayes, with Mowbray and Boris as my two leaders, I'm out of hope. Mowbray, no comment. No comment. No comment. Lucas Bradshaw, do you think a player swap would be better than all money? Then Newcastle don't get as much. I have a lot of Newcastle friends, and I've been ripping into them for this because I'm really annoyed at the fact that Newcastle have a 40% sell-on clause. They've been greedy on this occasion of Newcastle, and obviously fair enough because he's a good player, and obviously they want return on the development they've given him. A player swap potentially. Obviously, we have seen links with potentially Michael Obafemi. Obviously, we've seen links with a former Burnley player in Andre Gray if he was to go to Watford, which I obviously don't want that to happen. But potentially, depends on one, which club he goes to, and two, who the player is. That, of course, both matters. Dan Woods, I'd prefer Armour leaves and Brio gets played main striker. I mean, fair enough. I'm all for Armour leaving if he doesn't sign the deal. And then if we put Brio up top, he might well come into his own. Chris Hayes, I'd rather he went to Newcastle with Gale the other way. That would be a fair deal. That would be a very, very good deal for all involved, I think. Because I think Armour deserves a crack at Premier League football. I think if you score 29 goals, you should get a chance. He's played Premier League football before. Didn't really go to plan for him. But yeah, Dwight Gale, he's proven himself at Championship level before. Played at clubs like Palace. He obviously played at Newcastle in the Championship as well. So yeah, that could be an option. I don't think that's realistic though, and obviously that would also counter out the sell-on clause too. So that would probably be the ideal scenario. But with Rovers, as we know, the ideal scenario very rarely happens. I'm going to go put this Gusted shirt back up, and hopefully I don't fall into the mirror. I'm sure Dan or someone at Rovers Chat, someone high up, or Joe or someone will clip that and post it up onto the Rovers social pages, Rovers Chat social pages. And I'm sure in the contributors chat, they're all going to have a lot of fun laughing at that one if it is indeed caught on camera. But I'm going to put this back up a sec because I want the backdrop. It's a bit boring there with the blank window there, the blank wall. Sorry. So we'll just throw this one back up and we'll be back to talk a little bit more. A bit of a break. Maybe we can do. Can we do a sponsor break? Do we have another sponsor we can throw up while I just throw this back? We've already done 6 yards out. We'll just do another quick ad break, and I'll be back in just a moment.
The Rovers Chat YouTube channel is proudly sponsored by 6yardsout.com. They've got retro football from every era with mugs, phone cases and much more. They also have plenty of Rovers goods, including apparel with the famous 94-95 season and this season's kit. Check them out using the link in the description below.
Back we go again. Thanks, Dan. So this has been an absolute shambles in the last 5 minutes. But there we go. Lucas Bradshaw. Will we get cash for Gale? We'd have to. He's not worth 25 million. You're right. I think he'd probably have 10 to 15 mil. So we'd obviously split the difference. But I mean, the way we're thinking at the moment, it doesn't look like we're going to get 20 mil for Armour, despite that's probably what he's worth. Obviously Southampton have put in bids less than 10 million, which is quite paltry, but. You know what I mean? It's like we might not get 20 mil for Armour, but I think if Dwight Gale is somewhere involved, it might work. 10 for Gale, 10 plus Gale, sorry. Yeah, I think that's ideal. Lucas, I hope I've solved that now. I'm pretty sure I have. I was muted on my mic there when I meant to put the shirt back, so I should be sorted now. Let me know if anything. Let me know if you still can't hear me, and then we'll obviously sort that. Kieran, we have McBride, Butterworth, and Vale on the first team. I thought Jack Vale was brilliant before he went out on loan towards the end of 2019-20. Obviously, at the crossbar against Reading, so that was sort of his best moment, I think. So yeah, I think there's a lot of players definitely in the youth setup. McBride did really well at under 23 level. Dan Butterworth has obviously had a bad luck with injury, but played a little bit here and there. But yeah, that could work. Obviously, the Brentford model is the one that everyone compares us to, wants to compare themselves to, because obviously they've sold the likes of Neil Maupay, Ollie Watkins, and then still able to to reinvest the money into the rest of their team. And then they've obviously gone up to the Premier League because of that. Dan Wood's problem with Armour, he's probably not Newcastle level. I don't think it's a good move for him. I mean, it's the home factor, isn't it? It's his hometown club. He'll want to go back and play there. He'll want to go back and prove himself. Who knows whether he's Newcastle level, because obviously he came through the academy, did okay there before he moved away on the loan spells and all that. Probably wasn't brilliant, but obviously we're still able to crack into the first team at like 17. And obviously he scored 29, last season. So, we sort of don't know until he gets another chance. The jury's sort of out on whether he's Premier League level or not. So who knows? So maybe he is now, but we'll sort of have to see from there. Obviously, just on that, by the way, they've just obviously signed Callum Wilson as well last season. They've got Joe Linton still up there. So they do have a lot of strikers, Newcastle. So maybe it's not what Newcastle are looking for. Kieran, if you were manager, he would be cashing in and investing in the defence. Obviously, with Ryan Niambe potentially leaving at the end of next season, something that we don't want to happen. I think Chris is almost chairman of the Ryan Niambe fan club, I think. But with him potentially leaving next year on a free, it could be an interesting one. Centre half's got the likes of Scott Wharton, Darragh Lenihan still. Tons of players that we could be obviously that we have at our disposal, but maybe it's something we need to look at. Lucas Bradshaw, Gale, and a good winger that covered Elliott's quality with money would be good. It's going to be hard to find a winger with Elliott's quality. Bloody hell, he was brilliant. It's going to be hard, very, very hard to find one, especially at a decent budget as well. But it's that's an ideal scenario. definitely an ideal scenario. But it will be tough to sort of find one from there because Elliott was absolutely class last season. Of course, in terms of other incomings, we've talked about Leighton Clarkson. It's all gone quiet there. Pelly Campanzu was one that was thrown around a little bit last week, but he appears to have signed a new deal at Luton, so it looks like that one's off. Tommy Doyle, Manchester City Forums had said that we had agreed a deal with him that would mean he would be spending next season with us on loan. That has been proven to be untrue. It might still happen, of course, but I suppose we don't know that. And then any other incomings? It's been really scarce on the incoming front, to be fair, because we've been linked with Doyle, and Panzu's gone off the table. Strikers, it's been a while since we've been linked to a striker. Lyle Taylor, I saw the other week we were linked with him, but I'm not sure how that would happen. The big one, actually, I say it's gone quiet. The really, really big news is Ronan Curtis from Portsmouth. Obviously, he's been doing really well at League One level. He said he wants a championship move, and it's said that we lead the race for him. So maybe we do lead the race for him. Who knows? It's one of those that Ronan Curtis would be a brilliant, brilliant player, and that would be the winger that would be attempting to try and cover Harvey Elliott's quality. Can he do that? Who knows? Not sure. We'll have to find out. Kieran, do we know if TM will stick with a 4-3-3 or trying something else? Going to be a relegation battle? I mean, I said at the start of the season before we signed Kaminski, when we had no goalkeepers, that we would be going into relegation battle. I'm not so sure if it'll be a relegation battle. I don't think we'll be, top 6 levels. It might just be another mid-table season. I wouldn't be saying relegation battle, though, I don't think. No idea if he's going to stick with a 4-3-3. You'd think so, wouldn't you, with the players he's got at his disposal? But he might switch it up on us, who knows. Obviously, it looks like he's been sort of playing a 4-4-2, especially against Everton, but who knows. Chris, need a couple of midfielders, agreed with Johnson and Davenport's injury records. I mean, we've been linked with midfielders, haven't we, at the moment, on loan from Premier League clubs, but at the moment, nothing's happened there. But I think that is the real need this season, definitely, especially with those two that you've highlighted. Obviously, also Stuart Downing leaving the club, Lewis Holtby leaving the club. So it is an area where we do need to find someone, I think, or a few players even, because we are quite light on in that area. Kieran, again, if we can't afford to sack TM, how can we buy players? I mean, this is the other thing with the Adam Armstrong deal isn't it? Because, obviously that'll be a pretty decent transfer fee, you should think, if Armour does leave. So we might be able to reinvest that back in. We're not sure. The Venkies might pocket it, who knows? But that might be a big draw card. What about Adam Reach? Another one. I almost forgot about Adam Reach now, because that one has sort of gone quiet in its own, but that's another player that would definitely be handy at championship level. Obviously, Sheffield Wednesday relegated last season. He's a player that's definitely too good for League One. Obviously scored an absolute wonder goal when we played them on Boxing Day at Ewood. A top corner strike from miles out. So Adam Reach would be a good player. I think the ideal window probably is Reach, Curtis, Jerry Yates, and a couple of Premier League players on loan, but that is very, very ambitious, especially the way our finances are looking. Speaking of which, obviously a little while ago, Rovers Chat did post the look at the accounts with Kieran Maguire and Glenn Entwistle. So if you want to have a little bit more of a look into that, maybe you can go and have a watch of that, but it doesn't look pretty in terms of books. But yeah, who knows? Maybe that would be one thing we could look at in terms of Adam Reach. I think he'd be low budget, so it might well have a look. Where are you sitting next season? I'm in the Riverside. If that's a question at me, definitely not at Ewood. I'm currently in Melbourne, so I won't be going to any of the games this season. I wish I could go. I haven't gone since... When did I leave? I've got the ticket up here. Again, I'm just showing things. I mean, there's a lot more people here than the other weeks, but I actually got the ticket up the top of the last game I went to Ewood. It's just there. I've got it. So this was the last game I went, which was way, way back in 2013-14. There you go. Leeds United, 1-0 win, Tommy Spur goal, 30th of November, 2013. Left a couple of weeks after, been in Australia ever since. So, doubt it. The next time I'm hoping to get over, I do finish school in November time this year, and I won't be starting uni probably until March. So maybe if quarantine gets released, I am fully vaccinated, so who knows? Maybe I can get myself over. That's been incredibly ambitious, but hopefully sometime soon. It's probably the thing I miss most about England is going to Ewood. I'm hoping to get myself back soon. but no immediate plans at the moment. Cameron, not a Rovers fan. You can see by his little AVI there with the Wigan picture, if you will. Any updates on Viv, Solomon, Ottawa? That one's gone quiet as well. So I've been linked with a lot of players, to be fair, but it doesn't look like we're going to sign him. You're probably more inclined to tell him, how good he is, because you'd obviously watch him play a lot more than I would, being a Wigan fan. But yeah, no updates, and it doesn't look like we're going to be signing him. But who knows? Of course, it would be reinforcements. It's a position that we do need to look at, especially with TM's preference to play strikers out wide. We could do with some actual wingers, and that would be Viv, Solomon and Otterbor's position. But Cam, let me know, mate. Obviously, you're not a Rovers fan, bit of a imposter here. But, if you want to tell us a bit more about him so you can just inform us Rovers fans on what we could be signing ourselves up for, let us know. Because that could be one that we could look at. Anything else to sort of talk about? It's been a really good stream, this one, lads. It's been probably the best one that I've done in terms of the show, and that's been down to the engagement in the comment section. So that's been brilliant. What about the SPL lad, Ethan Ross? Any news on him? I don't know if I've seen anything on him, to be fair. Were we linked with him? Is that one I've just missed? Name rings a bell. Ethan Ross. Oh, of course. No. No, I did see that, actually. You're right. On trial with Southampton, so I suppose the ball's in their court, really, as to whether they sign him or not. But we were linked with him. It really depends if he gets signed by Southampton or not. If he doesn't, then he might be of course signing there. If he doesn't sign there, then he could come to Rovers. Who knows? TM playing players in their position is asking too much. He's got it right with Kaminski, hasn't he? I'm sorry, I had to do it. He's got it right with Kaminski, but yeah, especially in the attacking front three, it's kind of tough to see sometimes playing Sam Gallagher out wide when he's definitely not a winger. Yeah, just informing there, the Aberdeen young winger. Yep, so it looks like he's going to Southampton. By reports, he's got a trial there, and if he signs, obviously he's off the market. Are we still interested in Curtis from Portsmouth? Yes, we are. It looks like we're leading the race. It looks like a 2-horse race with us in Cardiff. Last time I read it, obviously Dan answering the question as well in the chat for you. But it looks like it's between us and Cardiff. Hopefully we can win the race because he would be definitely a good player to sign. And this must be in terms of Ross. So he turned down a contract and it all went quiet. Who knows? No one knows at this point. It would be a good place to sign Ethan Ross. Definitely, I reckon. But I suppose we don't know. Anything else sort of breaking before we potentially head off that we potentially could miss? Because I know that there's been times where Twitter have been posting things as I've been streaming, and there's been nothing else. There has been something from, this might be Rich Sharp because it's from the Lancashire Telegraph, but Leeds have revealed their allocation for the friendly. Oh my days! Okay. Oh no, that was the caption, because they brought 7,500 in the friendly. I thought they were allocated 7,500 again, but they haven't been. What are they? They're making me scroll right down. The article's still loading. It is just worth noting that that there are some things you've got to do if you are going to Ewood. For that Leeds game, you've obviously got to keep up with the hygiene and all of that, as they're all saying, which is probably fair enough. I know, obviously, back home, everyone's, it's all Freedom Day. The restrictions have all gone. Very different story over here, but who knows? It's all saying take a test before you travel to Ewood. Test positive or feel unwell, don't travel to the game. Wearing a mask is encouraged, of course. It says they've been 4,500. It says in the top line 4,500 for the friendly. So that'll be fair enough. They always bring good noise when they come down to Ewood. Hopefully we can bring more than that though, just to get one over the Leeds fans. Pelly Rudder Campanzu, that one's off the table because he signed a new deal at Luton. So Pelly Rudder Campanzu won't happen. This is in relation to Viv, Solomon, Ottawa. Cam Darwin back in. He's good, likes to take players on, but would probably rather do a start than a super sub. Don't know if we can offer that, to be fair. And Dan's just confirming that news. Pelly Rudder Campanzu extended his contract at Luton. I did see that as well, so I don't think that one's going to happen. But back to Viv, Solomon, Ottawa. We'd have to sell Armstrong if he's going to start. He's not starting over Armstrong if he stays. Doesn't start for Brio if he stays. Obviously, Brio's been linked with a move away himself, but hopefully that one doesn't happen. of course, but it might not be one we can offer him. I'm going to open it up. Final call for any questions before we do round off. It's been a very, very good stream, I think. I've been able to bounce off a lot of interaction in the comments. Hopefully that continues throughout the rest of the season. Obviously, as the season starts, we'll have more to talk about because we'll have the results and fixtures and all that to talk about. But anything more we want to say before we do round off? Thanks for joining me this morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on where you're watching. A disappointing one. I haven't seen Alejandro today. He's been a regular on all of the streams so far this season. And he's not been here today. So he tuned in from Mexico. 2:30 a.m. it is over there when we go live. And he's not here today. So if you're watching the replay, Alejandro, shout out to you because you are probably the biggest Breakfast with Rovers Chat fan out there at the moment, along with the likes of Chris Hayes and all of those, and all of you lot now apparently who've just joined us. So thank you to those guys. But Alejandro really should be in the Breakfast with Rovers Chat Hall of Fame if ever there is one. Lucas, he wouldn't even start with Dolan, correct? Tyrese Dolan's a massive season for him, isn't it? Especially with Harvey Elliott gone. I think he'll get the chance, and I think he'll absolutely rip up the championship next season. But that is where I think I will round up. Thanks for joining me this morning. It's been brilliant to answer all the questions and talk about Rovers as it always is. Obviously, the next one, hopefully, we're back to the regular Monday 8:30 a.m. sort of time slot. That's when we usually do things rather than on the Tuesday. But it has been very, very fun. Maybe we do it on the Tuesday if we're going to get this level of engagement. But Dan's hopping off. We've got Armin as well, based in Melbourne. So we've got another Melbourne Rovers fan. So yeah, thanks for joining me this morning. Been a lot of fun. Have a great day to a lot of you. Enjoy the freedom, and we'll see you very soon for another Rovers Chat stream. Bye for now.
The Rovers Chat YouTube channel is proudly sponsored by 6yardsout.com. They've got retro football from every era with mugs, phone cases and much more. They also have plenty of Rovers goods, including apparel with the famous 94-95 season and this season's kit. Check them out using the link in the description below.